All right, it's 7 o'clock. We'll call the meeting to order. Are there any approvals, additions, or deletions to the agenda? You guys? No? All right. Has everybody had an opportunity to look at claims? Can I get a motion on claims?
I'll second.
All in favor? Is anyone here for disconnects? What is your address? Okay. And what was yours? Okay. Do you have a form?
Yeah, you can just ask them what they want to do, and I can get them to sign
Okay.
that.
How are you?
Is there, what are you wanting to do with it?
I can bring in 200 tomorrow and then after the rest of it.
Okay.
Just leave it like.
Yeah. You said the rest at the end of the month. And till the 14th, an extension. You got both of those, extension and 200, and then the rest at the end of the month. You guys got that? Okay.
Yep.
Anyone else here for disconnects? Okay. At the end of the meeting, you'll be able to get you paperwork to fill out.
Unless you guys want to come in tomorrow. Unless you want to come in tomorrow. If you're coming in tomorrow you're coming in tomorrow to pay. So I'll get you to sign then. And then if you want to go ahead and leave now, that's fine.
Perfect. Thank you, guys. Has everybody had an opportunity to look at the rest of the disconnects?
Yeah.
Can I get a motion on disconnects?
Awesome.
All in favor? Moving on to department reports, clerk treasurer.
So bank reconciliation for June will be finalized tomorrow. And this is because we need to find out about the transfer resolution and the additional budget request for wastewater. Once that's done, though, everything's looking good, and I'll have that reconciled tomorrow. Utility bills went out July 1st. That's later than I prefer. Usually I would have had those out by Monday, but July 1st is the bill date, so it was still good. Did have some assistance from some volunteers that was greatly appreciated on stuffing envelopes on that day and making sure they did get out. The delay on that was due to technical issues of getting our new meter system to connect with the software, our billing software. And I see a lot of not new faces, but new for the council meeting. So if anybody is here in regards to their bill, this could be one of the issues why, and we'll definitely have to look into each of those as they come up. I know that with these meters, I'm getting information on a spreadsheet, it's getting put in, and it has to, two different systems have to talk to each other. So the hope is that everything went correctly. The possibility of something not could have been. So we'll just deal with those on a case-by-case basis. Next week is conference with State Board of Accounts, schooling, training, mandatory. So I will be out. The office will be closed until July 16th, with bills being due the 15th and the office being closed. We always give that next business day. So bills will be due on July 16th, even though your bill states July 15th. I know at one of the previous meetings, we talked about keys for all the public works buildings. I do have a set now here at the town hall, so we'll be able to make duplicates if needed. And I'm working with Phil on getting those labeled and all that. In your packet, you have a completed CCR report. That is, it was done, it was put up onto the town website, and there was a URL also posted, put onto the utility bills for the public to view that. And then today, Dustin sent me a revised CCR. I did submit that for the website to see if they could keep that same link. So if anybody goes to that link and it's broken, it's not taking you to the correct spot, it should be corrected on the town website. But if that link is broken, it will be added to August bill with the correct one. So this evening, I am requesting an increase to the wastewater budget. That amount is the reimbursement amount from Alliance Rural through the apprenticeship program. That's how we plan to do that, was when that comes in, request it to put it back into the fund. Since this is the wastewater, we don't have to go through the Department of Local Government Finance. You guys are able to approve that. And then with that, there is a transfer resolution as well. And that's to correct a couple of our accounts that look like they're going to be run low or be in the negative. We definitely want to get those out, especially that wastewater one. Let you guys review that. That one will be in the negative if we don't. The other ones are mainly fire department, just to move some of their money around because of the utilities, and for professional services that they need a little bit in there for the changing of the fire over to the territory. And then as well in the other services, if they do want that electrical for the water tank or for the fuel tank, then we'll need to do that transfer to cover that. We had a request for one of the shared meters on the square. The Howard Street, it's the old radio station, and I say Howard Street, it's McConnell. The upstairs apartment area is labeled as 204 South Howard Street. It was just a made up, I guess, location for that shared meter. I did speak with Ingrid about that. She replied back and stated that if you guys were good on removing that location as a meter location, that would be fine, because that apartment at this point it can't be used as an apartment. There's no egress, so he's not able to do that. He has no intention of doing that at this point in time. I did speak with him about it, that, you know, if you guys were okay with removing that meter, which would keep us from having to deal with the whole shared meter in that location, then if at a later time he wanted to create an apartment and turn that into something usable, then it would have its own separate meter and the tap fees and all that are included with that. And Ingrid agreed that that would be what you want to do. And some of the quotes that are in the back of your packet are for Knowles Construction at the new town hall. That quote is to put a doorway in between those first two offices, just because that would be where I would be. And if we get a utility billing person in, not all the data is on a single computer, so it does require going back and forth. And then this would also allow to be able to view both of those areas as well with going back and forth. RPM machinery quote is for the backhoe. It has been overheating, so the guys have been, when they go out, they're doing a little bit and they have to let it cool off and going out. When I asked Phil about that quote, though, he stated it was only for servicing the backhoe, because if you read through it, it's not checking, it's just for servicing. It's not diagnosing the overheating issue. So I'm not sure if he's going to be able to get another quote from somebody else, or if they're going to provide another one later, but that's what that is. The CM construction quote is the hydrant out on Plum Street was damaged during the June storm. I did ask Blake about that one with Hoosier Associates. Our deductible is $5,000. So when the quote came in, it's below that. So we just need approval to get that hydrant fixed for that amount. In your packet, you do have a lot of requests from the Lions Club for dam patch days. There's a few different things going on there. Permission to have beer sales at Rommel Park on September 11th at the tennis courts, which they want to have a concert during that time out there as well. They are also asking not only for the beer sales, but also for repairing or patching the tennis courts themselves so that people could be out there. There was no quote given for that. I don't know what that would entail. If it's just the guys going out there and putting something, I wouldn't think that that would fix that. I'm just not sure on what that would entail. And then cleanup days before dam patch on August 27th, 28th. Just put that in there. It's always good to have them request those dates, not just to create more work for anybody, but when we have people that rent out the space, if I don't know that they're going to be out there cleaning up and then I've got somebody renting, that creates a issue sometimes. So we've got that in there for them to request that approval, and also the waiver of the rental fee that other people would have to pay. The request to use the school lot. I don't have anything in the office that gives the town authority to use that. I've provided to you guys what the county gave to us, which allows the employees to mow that. So I'm not sure what she needs from us, from you guys, if she's already been given the okay by the commissioners. The Fifth Street handicap parking designation request, I've just included in your guys' packets information on that there still needs to be ADA compliance with that if you're going to designate that as handicap. Generally, you would have an ordinance in place as well. We don't have anything ordinance-wise for you guys to designate temporary or for street parking like that. So that's at your discretion. Requesting of no vehicle traffic on Park Street and the assistance from the town marshal on monitoring that. And the town barricades and coordination. I don't know how many barricades that the town has. I don't know how many they're needing for out there, but I believe in the past, I think Kurt would just designate different corners, or they would work together for different corners and put some out on Friday, and then the volunteers would place them where needed and then pick them up, I guess, on Monday is what I'm guessing on that. And then Discover Oxford they received a grant looking to replace the benches on the square. And they're also requesting the town to pitch in and donate $1,000 outside the expenses of that grant. I did provide to you guys in your packets information on those benches themselves and also ADA compliance for replacing. If it were just replacing one bench, it wouldn't be, but when you replace everything within a unit, then you have to follow the ADA standards. So those are in there. And then also on here is Frost Brown Todd. It's an engagement letter. That's who the town went through for the last SRF loan. So it'd be the bond council. If you guys did want to approve this, I would just state it contingent on receiving the SRF loan and approval with that. That's all I have.
That's fantastic. Thank you. Moving on to Public Works.
Spoke with Bill, while Eli was there, they were hoping getting some stuff done out on the streets. I know that he's gonna try to coordinate on certain days when he's gonna go out and try to clean up brush at the camp. But obviously we told him, he's one man, to do what he can, he's not messing with, work orders and other things like that, so. Other than the, overly on the back, I don't think everything else.
I was gonna say with the backhoe, I think how the way I understand it is that quote would be, they come service it while they're there, they're diagnosing it, and then they'd be able to quote the fix for whatever is making it over
They
here.
don't know what's causing it, so they can't get a quote for it.
Okay.
So everything, anything else?
Nope.
Preston? Anything?
Wilson Street is currently barricaded off. There's a property that has a tree that's kind of just hanging on, but it's fallen into another tree up against power lines. So Tina Kaufman had the street department set up barricades. So proactive rather than reactive. So I spoke to the homeowner and they've got a plan to, kind of knock down that tree, working with, Warren County on this, get that.
Thank you.
I'm assuming this week at some point.
Yeah, I talked to him, he said, by the middle of this week or the end of this week, they should have somebody that's gonna come out to kind of give them an estimate on what's gonna cost for them.
Anything else?
So, that's it.
Fire department? Just in
Alright.
time?
Yep, just in time. So we got a problem out there at the station. So how this all transpired is, I'm gonna say about 7 years ago, town of Oxford said we can put a meter in the station. We have a 4-inch line that feeds our fire station. It goes up, comes out of concrete, goes up overhead, and has drops to fill our fire trucks. Well, before it goes out to the station, it splits off with a 1-inch or 1.25 line and goes and feeds the toilets, kitchen sink, showers, all that stuff. Residential side, basically. So when they put the meter in, now however many years ago it was, they put a 4-inch meter in. And they told me originally that it was just to measure water for a sewer grant to figure out what was stormwater and what was municipal water. Now keep in mind, when we put the trucks, it's not going to go into the sewer. We're not flushing it down the drain in the sewer. It's going to be out on fire or out on the ground or wherever. But I said, okay. I said, well, you're not going to bill us, right? No, this is just a matter of water usage. Well, fast forward some, I don't know when it happened, a few years later, they started billing us, they being the town, started billing the fire station out of our budget to the tune of $100 a month, which is the minimum for a residential size meter. And so that went on for several years until this winter, when Atlas was doing this project, they're going around and they're asking about water meters. I got a request to see if, from Tina Porter, to see if that 4-inch line could be shut off into the station. Because in the records, they showed that we had a 4-inch just for the overhead drop. They'd heard from somewhere, somebody, that it wasn't used and asked if it could be shut off. I said, no, it can't be shut off. That's what feeds our whole station. There is no separation until it's in the station, so you can't shut it off outside. And they said, okay, well, we need to know what water meter you have so we can get replaced as part of the grant. All right, so I take pictures of the water meter, and it's a digital water meter that the town of Oxford paid probably a good amount of money for however many years ago. But the grant upgrades to a whole new system. Well, when Tina Porter found out that we had the 4-inch meter, she says we have to pay an $800 a month minimum water rate out of our budget. So we had a meeting at the station and said, Nate said in February, March, we'll take care of it. I said, okay, what do we need to do? We need to replumb, what do we need to do? Well, we'll take care of it with an ordinance, something. Okay. As far as I knew, that's where it stood. That's where it was. Thursday, I got an email from Tina, wanted to know if she could transfer 5,000 out of one other line item, 3,000 out of another line item, to the tune of 8,000 more to go into our utilities. Now, I don't see the utilities bills. I don't approve those. So I had no idea that we were still getting billed the $800 a month minimum for a 4-inch meter. So while we're in this process, we're Jones, who's worked with fire departments all over the state to establish these territories. And when this came up initially, when Tina said we got to bill you for $800 a month, I sent an email to him. I was like, is that normal? No. Capital letters, no. No town is going to charge the fire department to supply water for fire extinguishers. What they can do is have a smaller meter put in for the residential side and bill at that rate. Or there's something you can do with not having to cost the town anything and just write it up in ordinance that the fire station is not billed at a 4-inch minimum rate. I thought that's where it was going. Because I talked to Aaron, local plumber in town, Aaron Meredith. He said, yeah, it's doable. I said, okay, well, hold off. I've got word from Nate that this is going to be taken care of with a pen and a piece of paper instead of, plumbing. And that's where it stood. That's as far as I knew, that's where it was at. Until I got that email and a subsequent conversation with Nate, who said that that is not the case, that we're still getting billed $800 a month. So if I'm looking at this correctly, we had 7,500 in our utilities line item before. We need an additional 8,000 to cover our utilities. So that's 15,500. Is what that is right there. So the 4-inch meter rate, $800.90 a month times 12, that's $9,610 for the minimum water for the fire station. Just keep that in mind. Just the fire station. I don't have a business. I'm not renting the tenants. I'm not, this is the fire station. Our total operating budget is $68,500. So just for the water for the station, that's about a 14% chunk of our budget, just for the minimum rate for the water. I hoped to solve this outside of the council. I really did. I did not want to come in here and bring this up. But obviously that didn't work. So what can we do to rectify this so that it's not $800 a month? We go back to the minimum that was charged for years that nobody cared about. Nobody said a word. It was just fine. What do we need to do?
So, I will say that I did poke Ingrid again because last time we spoke with her about this, there was, to her understanding, some obscure, essentially code within the state that allowed us to alter the fire department's bill. She has yet to bring that to us, and she couldn't name it right offhand.
Okay.
So I have emailed her asking for that, because if that's the case, then we, like you said, what are we doing, right?
Right.
But other than that, do you have anything on that?
Outside of
Because-
that, first off, the bill is not 800. It's
So $800.09.
it's
I haven't seen it.
89. I didn't think that that was even in the email. The one 800 I got, I thought was from you. But it's not 800. This is to cover the water, and it's still 689, which I also think is an absurd amount, especially going off of the usage that you guys have and not even the necessity for the 4-inch. The other alternative, if something can't be found for doing to alleviate and still keeping the 4-inch, would be something like the hydrant. Can you guys fill up from the hydrant?
That doesn't, we can't shut the floor off because of utilization.
That's the main coming through the ground.
But it could be reduced to a residential.
We could, if it's allowed, and that's why I don't want to waste my time talking to a plumber until I hear from you all.
Putting it up in the loft like
where
we
it's
talked
used
about.
off. The 4-inch meter can be taken out, and that can just be run direct, because that is completely normal according to Bill and every other fire station.
And when I asked you that in the wintertime when Cutlass was out there and I was at the department with them,
Right,
and you were insistent that you did not want to reduce it. So
it's already, I don't want to reduce it
Yeah.
for filling the trucks. It's already reduced to supply the sinks and the toilets to flush, but it's reduced down to 1.25 inches, but there's no meter up there. And that would have to be about 12 feet up in the sky is where that meter would have to be placed, because that's where it's reduced. So we can't reduce it outside the station. That can't be done, because that would reduce the flow that we use to fill our trucks.
and
Now,
do
could
you
we fill
use,
off of- Yes.
you guys use
Yes.
that to fill the truck?
Yeah, when it's 0 degrees out and we drop the load out of the tanker, we're pulling into the bay, we're shutting the door, and we're filling off of that.
And that doesn't go through the meter?
That goes through the meter.
Because we're not seeing that. That's what is odd in the
That's what I-
billing,
Yeah. I
is we're
don't-
not seeing that.
So that money was completely wasted to put in that 4-inch meter in the first place then. Because its whole purpose in life was to measure how many gallons is being used out there, so we know how much is sewer and how much is, it's not working. But even with that, there's no reason to replace it with another 4-inch meter, because you're not gonna bill us for supplying trucks with water. So I need to know, like, if there's a code that can take care of it.
Right.
That code needs to be put in place.
Correct.
If there's plumbing needs to be done, trust me, plumbing's the last thing I want to do, because when that meter was put in years ago, we actually did have a water line right after that, because anybody that's dealt with plumbing knows you poke that bare and you have issues. We did have a leak up in the ceiling after that happened. So I don't want to do any plumbing, but if I have to, because we can't take care of it with pen and paper, then I'll have to get a plumber out there. Then you guys have to supply a residential size meter, and it has to be installed 12 feet in the air. So the water splits off.
I mean, at the end of the day, I sent an email to Ingrid about it, and once she gets back, you'll be the first call I make, you know what I mean?
So,
I just don't have that answer at the moment.
so what you can do is what we paid for already and what we're continuing to pay until this pen and paper takes care of the problem is, don't take that out of the fire department's budget. Because that money that's coming out of there could be used for any other number of things, not an absurd bill for water that no other fire department that I know of pays. So that would be, and in the meantime, in the interim, if we're relying on Ingrid, if we're gonna wait on her to do her thing, then don't take that money out of the fire department budget. Take it out of the general fund, take that utilities, it's Oxford building, take it somewhere else. But there's no reason it should come out of the budget.
So when this did all come about, it was it wasn't just the fire department that was found to have different meter size. So they all had to be treated the same. You can't
They're not all Oxford buildings.
correct, but until there's an ordinance in place that
That's why
says
I'm-
that it can be different,
Whatever needs to happen.
that it can be different, it's going to be billed the way it's billed now until that's put in place.
6 months later, I've got the same issue. So I need to know, how does it need to get resolved? If there's an ordinance that needs to be put in place, fantastic. Sooner rather than later. For the meantime, I didn't approve any of those water bills that were taken out of our budget to date. And I believe the department head is supposed to approve what comes out of the budget. I didn't approve, I didn't know what was happening. So how could I prevent that? How could I come to a meeting and said, you know, any other person here has a problem with the water bill, they know it, they come to the meeting. I didn't know.
But you're a
So-
department head, you could have came to every meeting. Should,
Come to every meeting,
should be
ask
at
what the water
meetings.
bill is for the fire station? That's not normal. Preston, you know what you guys pay for water down there? No idea.
Regardless,
No, didn't know.
right, regardless, we will find some solution. Like I said, waiting on Ingrid with that. Otherwise, we'll look into legality of being able to do the ordinance or whatever to move it around. I'm not sure, right? Obviously, I haven't done this for super long, but I'm more than willing to try to find a solution, and it's not like I'm not trying, right?
Right.
It's just a
Month after month,
slow moving,
there's a lot of money coming out of the budget.
for sure,
Just for water,
right?
that's absurd.
Right.
I mean, does anybody in here think the fire department should pay over 100 for water? I mean, if it's 600, if it's 800, those are pretty big numbers when we take them out over the year. Like, I don't think there's anybody in here who'd say, yeah, that's normal.
And including everybody sitting up here.
So.
The
how
town
can we
also
get-
pays 60,000 a year for the fire hydrants that comes out of general fund to pay for that.
That's part of your town obligation to provide fire protection. That's not, and so that's neither.
But
here
I'm
nor
just
there.
saying that there are other exorbitant bills that come out besides that have to be paid.
I understand, but what I don't understand is how Oxford Fire Station gets a bill significantly larger than any other fire department that I know of.
Right.
Pays for water.
You think the fire department would get it free.
You was
Right.
saying, wouldn't you?
Shouldn't have to do anything for that.
Regardless, and when I spoke with Bill,
There was no meter at all. There was not a meter at all. And it wasn't until the sewer project when they said, well, we want to measure your gallons so we can know what's sewer and what's stormwater. I said,
Right.
okay, fine. I didn't argue.
Yep.
Fine.
and like I said, that's why I reached out to Bill while he was out there when we were doing the fire territory meetings and all of that. He didn't provide the actual paperwork for a while, but once I got it, right, that was something that we were asking Ingrid about. Is that something we can do? Though, and her answer was, I believe there's some sort of obscure code, but she hasn't gotten it to us.
Okay.
And that's why I reached out to her again about it to see what that is, because if there is, absolutely.
Right.
Because again, nobody wants that to be the case. I'm not saying
So
that's
when it
the
comes to the end
situation.
of the year and I'm short on my budget and I need other items, then what then? Like,
Regardless of the outcome of the IC code that is found, if there isn't one, we're gonna get, if we gotta toss a meter 12 foot in the air, we gotta toss a meter 12 foot in the air, right? I mean, $700 for a water bill at the fire department, again, is ridiculous.
right.
But also there's the obligation that the town has when it comes to fair and equal. So, and I'm not trying to give you
Fair and
excuses.
equal doesn't make any sense to me.
I understand. I get it. I get it.
When it comes to the town-owned building.
Yep.
Providing fire protection, paying that kind of money.
Yeah.
And again, I talked to other fire departments.
Yeah.
Nobody else paying that.
Right.
And there's drops in other departments too.
Yeah.
We have a similar situation.
Yep.
And direct connection to the main.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So the question still stands, what about what we've already lost out of our budget that's gone into the water and sewer fund? Like, what about that that's already gone? And what about these transfers out of my building and maintenance and repair and maintenance of the trucks that I very well could need by the end of the
Right.
year? We're right at the middle of the year. So I don't want to take 3,000 from one and 5,000 from another while we wait on Ingrid.
Right.
What about that? What are we gonna do about that?
So obviously we can transfer it back if that's not needed. At the end of the day, my angle is getting an answer from her one way or the other. And then if that's not plausible, it's getting the guys out there to get the meter swapped out.
And who
Right.
would it be, is that something we need to have done with Atlas already, or the engineer?
It-
Meter replacement, or?
They're starting to work on those now, the ones that are gonna be changed to different sizes. They're getting that information together to start working towards that.
So we
So it'd
would
be
know pretty
as-
quick if it's gonna be changed or not.
Right, and that's my whole thing is, but anywhere during the meter, the changing of meters, right, we could have them come out and do it. But my angle is getting her to get us an answer sooner than later, like this week. That way we can get a plan in place to get a meter swapped out.
Okay.
So whatever that looks like, we'll have to obviously talk with Atlas and them and get a game plan on what they need to make that happen.
Right.
But like I said, you've got my word. I'll get a hold of you every step of the way, let you know what's going on with it. So,
Okay. Yeah, I got a question.
okay, one moment. Anything else with the fire department?
Yeah. Pump testing, I sent you an email on pump testing. We need to get that scheduled, it's a sole source. I didn't reply on that, so I guess there's not a PO created for it. And he's a sole source because we're teamed up with, other fire departments in the area, and if you combine, and do it at the same time with them, you can get it cheaper than if you have it on your station, so. They're the only ones that haven't done it yet this year in the area of Pine Village, so I'll take a truck down there to do it if it's approved.
Okay.
But I do need to get that approved sooner rather than later to get it scheduled with them, so he knows where we'll do that. Also ladder testing. This is paperwork for new customer contact information. I believe I sent this to you. I think I sent that one on 6/17. That one I shared with you in Microsoft. I don't think it notified you, so, basically, I've got almost everything filled out on it except the tax ID number for the town, and make sure you look at it and know that the billings look correct on the verbiage and everything, so that the town's paying for that, but the fire department, so.
And that was for what? When did you say the pump testing?
That's coming up in, I think he's got that in August or September. That has to be done before winter, obviously. Since-
Right.
Two, again, with the utilities, where does that money come from?
What do you mean?
Well, she's requesting to transfer 8,000 in utilities to cover this water bill. And I said, don't take it out of the other line items, take it out of the general fund.
It's not gonna come out of the general fund.
Then how, she's gonna take that out of the line items, well, I didn't know, I didn't prove it.
Like I said, it can be transferred back. My goal is to not have to use that, you know what I mean? Transfer it over. If we can get this sorted out sooner than later, that's not gonna have to be used, and we can do the same thing, transfer it back if it's not used.
Okay, so if Ingrid figures this out,
I
we
will,
won't get billed going forward, and we'll get the money back that we got billed since January, February.
you won't get the money back.
But I didn't know it was happening.
Right. And I understand that. Like I said, the bills are paid every month. Once it's paid, it's paid. There's no just pulling that money back out and reimbursing. So it would be from the point that that meter's replaced and or hopefully she has this code and we get something written up and pass that. And then from that moment forward, obviously it wouldn't be that 600, almost $700 bill. But with post-dated stuff, everything that's been paid, that wouldn't be the case.
So can I request that as department head, I get every bill to me to sign before it's paid? So that way I know if something's out of line,
Yeah.
I can send those.
Yeah.
just send me the invoices.
Yep.
Then I can sign them like everything else.
Yes, sir.
And then I think it's in our contract that there's supposed to be an appropriations report sent out regularly. Can I request that be sent monthly?
I can, yep, that's something I present to them every month and I can, yep,
Just email it to me.
if you're not gonna be at the meetings, I can get it sent to you.
Fire
Like I
hydrants
said.
in town that are getting repaired.
Yep.
And
I-
they're bagging the ones that are in operation.
Yep, I talked to Rob about it. He said any meter that is out of order is back.
Okay.
So I told him to let me know if there's any others that come up or anything like that, have to be disabled or whatever when I had that phone conversation with him. And he said he would, so if I hear anything, you'll hear something.
Okay, and
So-
then in our yard, there's 2 hydrants there. The old hydrant is coming out.
Yeah, it should. There's no reason for them to just leave it.
All right.
I'll check with Rob on that.
check them on that. Still working on Main Street, the rebury the fiber that was cut through in January as well. That's, gone nowhere. So I appreciate the mowing guys mowing around it when they do mow the yard.
Right.
It does look like that place is abandoned out there. Flagpole Road.
I've been on Phil about that. He said he was going to Menards this week and that he was going to get a spool because they didn't have any.
Okay.
So took him a minute to find or to check for it, but he said they don't have any. He was just gonna buy a spool to have. So
And Benton County Honor Guard is going to be doing a flag ceremony, opening ceremony on 9/11 for Camp Patch Days. Down at the old flagpole for the school. Used to be, those flags, last time I seen them, were pretty tore up. It's gonna be replaced.
On the school property?
You're-
That's the-
It's
at the-
sidewalk that's right next to the playground. It's where the old school was, but it's about 30 feet from where the school was.
right to the west.
Right.
Is that the county's?
Is the county or is it like the playground? Is the town on the playground or is the county?
I don't know, I thought that portion playground was the school. I guess we clear that up.
Regardless, we'll get flags. Whether the county needs to buy them or we do, it doesn't matter. So are those? I'm bad with measurements. Are those bigger than the standard? No, they're bigger. I think.
I think that was bigger.
Yeah.
That's 5 by 8, I think, is the next size. 3 by 5, 5 by 8.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, I think it's bigger.
Okay. Yeah.
I still got our flags that fell on the ground, from our flagpole with the Indian State flagpole getting fallen off.
Okay.
So. We appreciate Phil coming out, or whoever came out, got the tree that got blown over.
Yep.
And get the yard, we got a serious weed problem up there. We ran out there and sprayed some.
They have no spray currently.
So that's what we bring down. That's all I have.
Thanks, sir.
Thank you.
Like I said, I'll be in touch as soon as I get word from her this week. I'll let you know what's going on.
Let me know, like I said, if we're gonna do some filming in there, I need to know, get a heads up, they'll meet them in there. And
Yep.
make sure that everything's done okay, 'cause
Absolutely.
some other ceiling.
Yep. That'll work. Appreciate you.
Mhm.
No business guests. Public comment. Anybody?
I would say.
Okay.
I still have black plastic out in front of my house. I still have the leaves and limbs out in front of my house that have been there since March, April. Sure be nice to have somebody working on them.
Yeah.
The splash pad is still not working. All the young mothers with little children are asking, why doesn't the splash pad work?
Right.
If you can't fix it, can we find somebody who can?
My understanding, Austin, they were waiting on seals. Okay.
They're getting with, what the hell is his name? The waterman,
Matt.
Matt, and have, Matt was supposed to help you with that as well. They're waiting on seal.
Um, the drain at 352 and Justice Street I asked about, he said he had to relocate it. That's the one by the Presbyterian Church. There's also one across the road, the stop sign. It's so full of mud and stuff, I don't even know if there's a drain there.
Okay.
So everything's going down my sidewalk forever.
Awesome. You get this.
That's
Phil
the
and
one
them.
that looks like problems with.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll talk to him about it.
There's been a bunch of littering around. I take the dog for rides in the golf cart and pick up litter daily. It seems like maybe it's younger kids throwing things down, but I'm picking up potato chip packages, marathon drink cups, Slim Jims, all kinds of stuff. Is there anything we can do about littering? You get a high five
Yeah.
back.
It's been,
Give them the equal eye.
good meeting, all
I don't see them doing it. I just pick it up behind them. Also beer
Right.
cans down around the, cemetery, Justice Cemetery. Somebody seems to think they can throw their beer bottles and beer cans down there over in the cornfield or just over to the side of the driveway. I don't know who's down there drinking.
Right.
I'm not down there late hours to see any of that stuff go on, but maybe we could have a couple of extra rounds down there in the evening.
A little extra patrol there, Mr. Cox.
Thank you. The railroad tracks are so horrible trying to cross them in town. Is there anything we can do about the railroad tracks?
I feel like you have something.
I did talk to Aaron about that, and he stated that it is the railroad's responsibility, that the town can't do that portion, but
Do something?
I did ask him to get with his contact that he contacts when there's different things to let him know that that was still an issue. He has reported it in the past, though. He stated that he has reported it before.
Will we hear something back?
I don't
I
know.
would request that we hear something back one way or the other.
We'll follow up with Aaron and see if keep him on them.
Last but not least, what happened with the alley? Ingrid was supposed to let us know in a week.
She was, wasn't she?
Yes.
In the same email that I was sending out about the fire department, I requested information on that because again, we haven't heard anything from her on it. And until we hear something from her on it, there's nothing on our end, right, that we're gonna move on until we hear back from her. So obviously I'll be in contact with her this week and that's something that I will follow up on and get an answer on.
3 weeks,
Yep.
she told us.
Which
Oh,
alley is this?
It's so just west of Cindy's coffee shop,
On the other side of the
Yep.
double line.
runs north-south.
Okay, all right, all right. Salt fence up there.
Yep. Anyone else? Yes.
I just need a clarification from this, form that some little guy stopped by my house about the meter setter.
Uh-huh.
He couldn't explain it to me,
Okay.
and I was a victim of a water leak from this new check valve, or
Sure.
whatever it was, put in my house, resulting in me having to put in an expansion tank on the
Yep.
water heater. Plus it damaged the valve in my water softener. So I had that replaced. So when I read this, and I had a couple other people read it, obviously it was written by a lawyer somewhere, because when you hear will not constitute any further responsibility of your private property by the town, I just needed clarification, because he said, well, everybody's declining it. And that's not a good answer for me.
So with that letter, that was given to the individuals that Atlas is aware of that have had formally notified them that they've had a expansion tank installed. It's essentially giving you the option to leave the check valve in the setter, which is essentially the root of all these problems, right? Is that check valve. what was decided that they were gonna go around to all of the meters and remove that check valve. It's able to be put back in place very easily. The individuals that are known to have, like I said, a expansion tank installed were given the option, since you have an expansion tank, to leave the check valve. There's an individual that wanted the option to leave the check valve. The check valve essentially just turns your system into a closed system, which essentially overpressurizes it if you don't have an expansion tank. Main, which right now there's nothing in the state of Indiana that states that we have to have that backflow prevention, which is that check valve. So that's why they were all removed, because they were causing issues. It is an international plumbing code, so it is coming down the pipe that if anything new, once that is adopted in the state of Indiana, anything that's replaced that has to do with the meter will have to have that backflow prevention device installed. But at the moment, there's no legal obligation for us to have those, so they're all removed. That is just giving you the opportunity, if you so wished for some reason, to keep that check valve. So keep your system a closed system, so it can't backflow into the rest of the mains. Essentially, you can do so. So, I mean, I can't tell you what to do, obviously, with that, but I'm saying that everybody that received that letter is known by Atlas to have formerly had a expansion tank installed, and that's why you received that.
Well, I didn't have a choice.
Right.
So when it says here, you understand and acknowledge by signing this agreement that modifications to the meter setter will not constitute any further responsibility of your private water service line by the town of Oxford.
So essentially, anything from the meter to your home is obviously your responsibility if you so chose to keep that setter. I.e., they're essentially saying if you choose to keep the setter and for some odd reason you get rid of an expansion tank and then it does the same thing all over again, they're not responsible for it.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome. Anyone else?
Water bills,
Yes.
questions on those. So who sets the rate each month?
So the
Or
rate,
how is the rate set?
so the rate is set with our, what's it called?
Municipal advisors.
Is it seasonally or monthly revised?
Currently, so the most recent one in place, it was done last year. Well, it was done the year before that, and it was for a 3-year increase.
Okay.
So each January, it's going to increase. We've already got the rates. They passed all that for the rate to increase for next January on that one.
I have the whole month printed out because there's no consistency. And it keeps going up, and even our usage keeps going up, but yet we aren't using more water. And now all of a sudden this month, we went from last month 4,400 gallons to 6,329. There's no way we use that much in our house. I'm now a stay-at-home mom, so I'm not even
Sure.
taking a shower every day. It's like every other day because I'm not going to work every day. And it also said the usage, it says previous reading 0 to present reading 3,770, where bills before we were in the 400,000s. Did that start over with the new system you were talking about? Okay.
Yes.
But then said total consumption 6,000.
So
Did it get doubled?
So what it did, and we would want to look at yours in particular specifically anyway, but so they give me a CSV file and it has on there the last read for the old meter. And then when that gets uploaded to the billing software, it is automatically going in the back end and saying, okay, this was the last read, which means this is the consumption for that old meter. And then because it was done in between billing, here's the new meter. And then another billing file is put in for that new meter and it's reading for that read from the beginning, which is 0 to the read that it currently has. And I can see that live. Every hour it's taking readings on everybody's meters, so we can see those as they're happening. But again, there could have been an error somewhere along, either in that file or when they were inputting, and I tried to go through as best as I could, but again, time constraints of when we get those, that's why I said if you do have an issue, then we'll pull that specifically and look and see if there was something else that was going on with that.
Everywhere else I've lived, they put the rate that's being charged on the bills. Can that be added just for accountability purposes? Because there's months where we have the same usage, but it's like $20 to $30 more on our bill, and it keeps going up.
So again, I would look at your bill to look at the specifics of why that would change, because it shouldn't. I've even got an Excel calculator in there where if somebody comes and asks me how much, I can put it in and it's always spot on with our billing software. So I'd want to look at that in particular. As far as putting that on the bill, I don't know for sure what options, if we have any of that option. Do you get yours online or is it printed and mailed to you? Okay. I don't know that I've seen anything for the printed versions of me being able to put something like that on there, but I can always check with our software company and check and see if that's something that can be added. And
also talk on What's Up Oxford. Sometimes I take those with a grain of salt because I know sometimes people can exaggerate. So like I was a director of operations at a Chick-fil-A in Peoria, Illinois for a while, so I know how to filter through some of that stuff. And I just want to, I know having that rate on there would also help with that accountability too. And then you guys might not have as many questions.
And again, our rates, once the rates are set, we've had those rates set for 3 years basically. Yeah. And those are posted in here as well. But we can still see if we can get them printed.
Our bill as well keeps going up if the usage is around the same, it's not adding up.
Yeah. And again, definitely want to look at that.
Anyone else?
Are you guys hiring, planning on hiring more guys?
Yep.
Have you been interviewing them?
Not yet. It hasn't been posted because the job description literally at the last special meeting was what we kind of went over, and there are changes that need to be made to it. So Tina's working on those changes, and then we'll work on getting it posted and start interviewing as quickly as possible, because obviously with one guy that's full-time and another guy that's 4 hours a day, it is difficult to get things done. So if anybody knows anybody that's wanting a job in town, that'll be posted soon. So yes, sir.
Yeah, I live on 603 Terry Lane.
Okay.
We got a 4-foot tile run right behind our house. And Rick Robbins, when he was here, he was down there 2 or 3 times, and that water builds up right there on the east side of the highway. It used to come across the highway. We used to look like a lake down there.
Yeah.
All right, June the 17th, when we had that big rain.
Yep.
That was full of water. And it got down behind my house, and it finally started going through between the houses again.
Okay.
And if that storm had went south, we'd have had the whole street flooded again like we did before. And we got a 4-foot tile running there, and nowhere for that water to get down to.
Right.
That water line right there on top. He said we needed 2 drains down there then.
Right.
And he passed it on to Kurt Lord whenever he left. And Kurt said that Matt Hall would have to take care of that.
Okay.
But we need 2 drains down there. We need one at the low spot where it starts coming through between the houses.
Okay.
And one up in the middle there where it all congregates. Then it comes on down and goes to.
Okay.
And it done that, so now it's 2 or 3 times it's done that. Now we've had a 4-foot tile there for about 3 or 4 years.
Right.
And the water can't get down to it.
Sure.
There's a drain they put in, but they put it up on a high spot, and there's no way.
So it's no good. Right.
I mean, if they got up there, it'd flood the
Everybody.
house would be covered.
Right. Okay.
Anyway, he said they should have 2 drains put in there. So they come down 2 or 3 times, look at it, the water was built up and started running through.
Okay.
I'll call Matt Hall. We'll go out and look at it together. I'll call Matt Hall.
Well, Matt, we replaced 2 sections there right behind my house. I've been there 54 years. And Matt, Rick said it needed 2 drains put in, and that's far it goes, you know.
That's what I'm saying. Matt and I can go out there, we'll take a look at it. We
Yeah,
can
you
get it
get what
scoped out.
watch it.
Yeah.
Well, I got pictures on the camera of the June 17th water down.
Okay.
But there's no sense of having a 4-foot tile
No,
and the water laying on top of it and it can't go nowhere.
Are you gonna be around after the meeting?
Yeah, I can.
Or I can get your contact information, so we can go out there with you, you can show us what you're talking about.
That's why I bring up the drains. We've called in about it. We've got a drain out on the street. I bet it's been 4 or 5 years. We've called, well, I might have missed it hurt once. I called one of the guys. She told, well, didn't you tell me to call one of the guys about that drain? It's a big drain. It's gonna take a backhoe to lift the drain. It's got an 8-inch tile inside where it drains off. And that stuff is built up to it.
okay.
And it hasn't been cleaned up for years.
You know where that's, what corner that's on or near?
No, it's right in front of my house.
On Terry,
Street.
on Terry Lane.
So why you got,
I forget the name. She gave me the number, name. I talked to a guy and he said I never did see him down there.
why you got Matt out there?
But should be scheduled to clean those drains out.
So Matt
I mean,
is,
it's probably a 4-foot,
right.
cover over it.
Matt does clean them out. So he's the guy that would do that anyway. So while Austin has them out there, he will address that too, just
Well, we
while
like
he's here.
drains put in back here. We got to put, like I said, a 4-foot tile if you want to there,
Right.
48 inches. And
Right,
the water can't get down to it.
right. Yep.
And like I say, I get pictures coming down through by I had, it cost me $1,500 to put a fence around my house to block that water when it comes down through.
Right.
And now, it's the 17th, it come down through there again. I got pictures of going and, you know.
Okay.
Anyway, it should have drains put in there
Sure.
to take care of it.
He'll get in contact with you and they'll start that process. Yep. Anyone? Thank you, sir. Dick?
Did I see where the wood chipper is for sale?
Not yet, it's not.
I thought I saw it had someplace where the wood chipper, the old red dump truck, that old blue.
Oh, at the Benton Review.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. So what they've got to do when any municipality or surplus sells off any sort of items, they have to be posted in the local newspaper as getting ready to get rid of them, right, for 30 days prior to them being posted for sale. So that's what that was.
Well, why would we want to sell that wood chipper when we've got piles and tons all over town? We're going to hire, sell somebody, they're going to come back in, chip all our wood, contract price.
As it stands, we've historically had issues with individuals utilizing the chipper. And so it's essentially been decided that they're just going to use the clamshell and bucket or truck it out rather than chip it in the spot.
Tina said the wood chipper was in good condition.
Correct. I'm just telling you what was decided. So,
Well, I don't know who decided that, but it would make a lot more sense to use that chipper. It was all set up to use.
the other side of that is when it comes to chipping the wood, there's a large majority of limbs that are set out that they're not able to chip. Anything that's dead, they're not able to chip because of the splintering. That's part of the whole training process with those chippers. I think I understand where you're coming from, but factually, they're not supposed to chip anything because of the safety factor that's dead because of the splintering and the kickbacks. So
I worked for the county for 13 years, and we went out every winter
right,
and cut brush, chip brush.
I believe you.
And we never had anybody injured at any time. Every
Right.
piece of machinery
is a danger.
I agree.
For what it is, it can become dangerous
Yep.
if it's not used properly. Or if you're not prepared to use it properly.
Correct.
But it don't make sense to me to sell that and then have to hire a contractor to come in because we're not getting anything done up on Vine Street, West Vine Street. There's a pile of leaves, a big limb that's been there for 8 months
I believe it.
and they just dry right on by.
And you can't even go, like, it's a 2-lane road, you can't do 2 cars.
Right.
I mean, it's barely one because of the piles of leaves and the limbs.
Exactly.
What street's that on?
That's fine.
Line. I think it's one I talked about last week. I was on a run out there and does it look like a big elbow?
It's around.
Yeah, I almost disappeared tonight while I was running. I'm like, I can't see it.
It's a, it doesn't make good sense for me to do it that way, but I guess if we got more money than we got, we just raise the taxes and we could hire a contractor to get it done for us.
Well, the thought process is they've got the backhoe once they get that fixed to in the truck to get all the rest of it out.
You might have to get out of the cab and take a chainsaw and cut some of that brush.
Yep.
In order to be able to handle it.
We used to have a chipper that chipped the whole tree. Cause my brother, like, he's not living now, he lived down on.
That chipper,
Right.
They brought him, I mean, he put the whole tree in there. Chip the
Yeah.
tree up.
I believe it. There's a chipper, but like I said, they weren't utilizing it, and the topic of safety came up as a concern with it, and the fact that they can't chip the dead limbs anyway because of the splintering and all of that, which is a factually based thing. So yeah, that's the angle that's going.
And we're going to free up some of that money too to buy other equipment that'll help them out with the removal of all this stuff. If we can free up some of that money with the equipment we're not using, we can buy other equipment to help remove some of the stuff.
It's to be able to have somebody that can run it.
Yeah.
Can operate the equipment.
We need to hire people first to be able to keep them. That's a big thing.
And you might have to get out of the seat from behind, out of the seat and, do some manual labor. And I see very little of that being done.
All right, is there anyone else, public comment? Yes, sir.
When can we expect to see some improvement with this leaves and limbs that have been around
So
forever?
there was conversation. I actually stopped down the other day at the shop and we're talking to them about it. The problem they were having apparently recently was the fact that if they get too far out from the shop, the backhoe is overheating, and the likelihood of that causing big damage obviously is a problem. We discussed them starting until they get this fixed, which obviously we got quotes in here that we need to approve tonight to get that ball rolling. They're to start essentially working their way out from the shop.
Yeah, with 2 guys, it's really not feasible. I mean, it really isn't. And
Right.
we really need to bring in a tree trimming company that does this every day.
Right.
And let them handle it. Let them handle the liability of it and everything, the safety portion. It's on you to get this stuff out of here. Just
And
tip
that,
it up, whatever.
right. And I mean, it may end up coming down to that.
Yeah, well, with the money we're saving for guys we're not paying,
Right.
I would think we could afford.
And this has been going on for so long. now.
Oh, yeah.
Correct.
I mean, since last fall.
At least get it to where, we get the tree company come in, so you guys can actually solve the problem, getting somebody to.
Yeah.
I agree.
I think we ought to lean on them until, lean on a tree trimming company, or maybe more than one, until we can get this, you guys can get this old HR and headcount issue straightened out.
I know, I did speak with one of the commissioners. There is a plan to get a large group of guys with equipment and trailers to come through town. They just haven't set a date on it yet, to pick up everything that we
Where are these
can.
guys coming from? Are these
It'd be local.
Volunteers.
Yeah, yep.
All right.
So, once we get a date on that, the plan, like I said, is for them, just getting a group of guys that have equipment and coming through and picking it all up, because like you said, it isn't feasible with, I mean, equipment failing and the guys have work orders going and they gotta pull away from limb pickup to do work orders. And then
Yeah.
once they get, takes, half hour, 45 minutes to get set back up. And then by the time they get 2 or 3 loads done, it's, something else.
Sure.
So,
But,
Yeah.
we got people that are busting their backside. to make
Absolutely.
The town square
oh,
much more presentable.
Yes.
Than it's ever been in many years.
absolutely.
And, you get off the square and you got leave your face with leaves and limbs.
Yep.
It's just, it's
It's
embarrassing.
bad. I agree.
It's embarrassing.
Anyone else? Yes, ma'am.
Just a question on, it's been many years about fixing some of the holes in the roads. Is anything in the budget for doing something with the potholes? Especially the one down at, Dan Patch and Jill.
Yes, right there at the stop sign, and it just keeps growing.
Mhm.
Yeah, there is. If you
There is
wanna talk
money in the budget. I just don't know if we have anybody.
Miss Lafayette can't even take care of this one.
Right.
I don't know if Phil knows how to do that, or if Eli does. I don't know if they're,
Can we like partner with the county?
Right.
Or Robertson to come in and.
Yeah.
pay them to do it, or-
That's not a bad idea. Awesome. I guess since you're gonna be down there, if you'd ask them what their abilities look like with that, and if not, maybe we can, reach
Yeah,
out.
wrote down. Got the list.
Thank you, sir. Good idea. Anyone else?
I don't know, can we talk about the pickleball court? I
Uh,
didn't get on the, but that just as a public comment.
Yeah. absolutely.
Okay, well, I don't want to put any of their troubles down because I know they're all trouble, but anyway, we're happy to report that the pickleball, at Old Academy Park was open on July 3rd. And, it's, all done except, everybody can play on it. And I don't know, when I asked Tina, she said that all people didn't get their water bills sent to their home. And if you did, you got a letter about it. And if you didn't, then that was about the stuffing of the envelope and stuff. And thank you, Tina. But
and I still had a couple in there too, so if somebody
Oh,
comes
okay,
in.
so I have some if you didn't get the letter about it. Okay. It's fine, then somebody else can get it. But it is done and, we hope people will start using it. And, I guess, right now we're doing the signs and, getting the volleyball net, is already purchased, going to get it up, and the cornhole bags are, being made, I believe, and, so we're going to do that, and, the grand opening will be, it's in the letter, will be on July 26th, a Sunday evening from 4 to 6 o'clock. And we're going to have some things there happening, and, we want to invite everybody. And, also, we thought it would be a good time if the town wanted to open the building that you rent out, put your rent signs up and, tell about it, and, maybe it would, make more people want to come and rent the building. And, I guess, anything you want to say, hon?
No, we just want to thank everybody for supporting it for the last 2.5 years, raising the fund. We have a few delays getting it then at this point, we still hope to have more in the future as far as putting some lights up and doing other things. But at this point, it's ready to go and it looks good. The Midwest Asphalt did a tremendous job of getting things done. It looks really nice.
Thank you, Don and Sharon.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Hope everybody enjoys it and we look forward to doing other things in the park.
Absolutely. Thank you, guys.
I want to thank Eli for keeping it moving out there. He's done a good job.
Yeah. All right. Anyone else? Moving on to old business, the quote for electric for the fuel tank for the fire department. You guys had a chance to look at that? I know we looked at it previously. It's the Houston.
Yeah.
Yep. Can I get a motion on that?
I'll make a motion.
All in favor? Moving on to new business, Dan Patch Days request, the Oxford Lion Club beer tent request for 9/11. Can I get a motion on that? All in favor? To patch the tennis court holes, or patch tennis court holes.
Guess they run up there and check out too, they see what the ability of the guys are able to do that. Probably went out there tonight, so we were here, see if all of that.
And I think that limb or that massive trunk's still out there as well. You need to get that moved.
Yeah, we're
So-
planning on 27th and 28th, and then I'm gonna go that thing.
Okay.
Large ones.
I'll run up there and I'll check it out, see if we don't think I'll take a look at the pothole and see what it's gonna take for that and what's left up there. I'll take pictures of it too, so we get all cleaned up.
I was just concerned about the tripping
In the hole,
in the hole. with
Yeah.
the smaller-
were they actually on like the tennis courts, I guess?
I think so, yeah.
Okay.
That's where we do our protractor pool and we'll have this concert on site.
Okay, yeah, I'll go across this and check it out.
I'll go up there with you.
Okay.
Cool. The Rommel Shelter and Water Use for August 27th, 28th for cleanup, fee waiver. Can I get a motion on that to waive the fee?
I'll make a motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
So the old school property permission, Ashley, you said you talked to the commissioners and they were good with it?
Yes, so,
Okay,
yes, they actually said it was the town's decision that that property was yours to use as you see fit for the next 5 years.
okay. So,
I'm hearing the town just agreed to mow it, so.
so the letter that we have from the commissioners essentially says, hey, you guys are approved to mow it, but doesn't outline anything about being able to use it. So I would say if they're fine with that, then, I mean, we don't have a problem with it, so.
It'll be, parking around with the tractor.
Yep. Perfect. And Eli and them have started mowing that as well. So there's some concern with all the rain and the settling of the soil. I don't know if Rod compacted it or not, but that might be a worry when it comes to parking. If there's soft spots that he didn't compact, people getting stuck, but they didn't have any issues mowing it. I know that. So. Okay. Were you gonna say something?
I was just to say, I know that they had to do like 2 or 3 over. He had to keep lowering, waiting for that to grow out there. But then I know Phil also said there was like bricks out there still and different things. So,
Okay.
yeah, they're working on.
Sunday night to check out the event.
Yeah.
Check out.
For the handicap parking along that west side, are you wanting to just essentially like a temporary handicap, like we just set up signs that say handicap parking only?
So we
Okay.
had a lot of problems last year with cars in the park. It just wasn't blocked off well, and we want to do a better job of helping handicapped people get around. So we have some volunteers that will run golf cart shuttles.
Okay.
But we decided we could have one, bigger designated handicap area. And we think that west side of the playground school lot was paved.
Yeah.
Would be the best place to do that. So we'd like permission to make that temporarily handicap only. Again, we're gonna have plenty of parking around where the school was,
Right.
for others. And then we'll run golf cart shuttles from that area to wherever they go. And along with that, just making a concerted effort as volunteers and helping with, the marshals, to try to keep vehicles out of the park.
Yeah.
We might have vendors early in the day or late in the day that need to get some vehicles in, but last year there was way too many.
Right.
So we want to help the handicap but keep everybody out.
Absolutely.
So the more signage and barricades and just effort is, we hope to kind of make an improvement on that.
I'll get a motion from you guys on that in a second, but when it comes to barricades, we'll get a count on what we have. And then that way we can reach out. I don't know that I have your number, but I could reach out to you and let you guys know what we have. And then maybe just establish like, we want barricades here, 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 here. And if nothing else, I mean, Austin and I can work on getting those set out ahead of time for you guys. That way they're there and you can just pull them in place.
Yeah, and I think the bigger concern on the barricades, because we can come up with other stuff about the park, but Sean and Connie like are in charge of the parade. And I think in the past, the town's been good about putting barricades out.
Yeah.
And so they were concerned if the manpower would be there to get them out. And if there was even enough. 'Cause
Right.
I feel like there's never enough.
No.
We also normally have access to the EMA parking trailer.
Yep.
Of materials. For that.
I feel like the barricades that were in there didn't utilize last year, it was just like cones and.
Okay.
Okay, so I think there's maybe an extra barricades in there.
Okay.
Deployed.
Well, regardless, we'll get a count and all that. That way you guys know what the town has right up here readily available. If we need them, we can use them. If not, great. Either way. So, can I get a motion on the temporary parking along 5th Street for handicap?
I'll make a motion.
Okay.
All in favor? No vehicle traffic on Park Street. Can I get a second?
Oh, see.
All in favor? We already went over barricades. We'll get that addressed. Discover Oxford Town Square benches and $1,000 request. So if you want to speak on it. Yeah. Yep. If you want to speak on it, we've got the photos and everything here. Kind of explain how that came about.
Bank Community Foundation had their fall grant or their grant application open, so I was trying to think of what can we apply for. Benches, replacing the benches on the square, which is new ones that look better. Was kind of low hanging fruit from the downtown revitalization plan. And so I real quick submitted a grant request from Discover Oxford for $5,000 for new benches. Heritage House had already reached out to me ahead of that, wanting to buy a new bench in memory of some of their wealth members who passed on. So we have $1,400 from them. I think that leaves us short around $1,000 to $1,400. So permission to replace the benches. I know, if possible, we'd like to move the old ones down to the wall area. For extra seating suggested. They would go back in the same location where they're at. The only suggestion was that we face them in towards all the activities we're doing on the square rather than out. So the questions, I guess, to the town were, is it okay to use the grant money to buy new benches for the square? Does the town have any capacity to replace them? If not, we'll find volunteers. Does the town have any capacity to help with that $1,000 or so that we need to come up with to fill it or not? Discover Oxford does have funding available. We need to do that.
Actually, will that put a pad of concrete under this one here that has gravel right now? Because there's one immediately across the street here that is the only one that's gravel, which,
Yeah, I kind of forgot about
Problematic,
that one. I knew there was gravel around that one.
Yeah.
I cleaned it up all the time.
because it's consistently a mess.
So that could be, added to the project. Again, that's where, financial help would, that we could have some concrete poured there to set that one on. I know one thing we want to be careful about is those old benches seem to be, the concrete might have been poured around them. We definitely would just want them cut off, not break up that existing concrete.
Right.
The grant did not include new concrete for all of those.
Well, and I was reading about ADA compliance. If concrete pads that are there and you are putting them facing into the park, is there going to be enough concrete that a wheelchair could get around to the front? I don't think those pads are big enough to accommodate both a bench and a wheelchair. Yeah, so I don't, and I know that, you can do one, but I think if you do it as a whole, we have to look at it as a ADA. Isn't that correct?
And
Yes.
that information's in this packet.
Yeah, I actually looked and saw the measurements, and that's why I'm like, I don't think there's room to face them inward and stay on the paths that they're on. I mean, I know that's just adding thousands of dollars to the whole project, but
Designate one of them as handicap accessible.
I did.
Yeah,
is that
absolutely.
possible? Yeah, at least half the.
So possibly the one that have concrete on it now, we figure out.
Just make a bigger one.
That way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know that's something that we'd have to address, and that's great. The one that isn't there anyway, just make it so that it has a bigger arc to it.
I'd say I could find volunteers to do them, but we want some direction from the town on how they install.
Right.
Especially if we're gonna flip them and face them inward, because
And if
right
we
now,
flip them,
well, right now, they can use the sidewalk as a, pull up to
Yeah.
to the bench. But if you flip them, then you're gonna need to be able to go around the front side.
But I think there's just requirement of one. So-
Doesn't have the concrete.
That
Yes.
works, that's
Figure it out.
it's
Or
perfect.
designate.
Right.
Yeah.
So,
I'm okay with that.
yeah. When it comes to our promotional, where are we at with that?
It's right on my desk.
Sorry.
I should have it.
Hey, is Rusty still on the board?
No, sir.
He's not?
Yeah, we're missing Tina Kaufman at the moment. While she's looking for that, we can go to C, request to remove 204 South Howard as a metered location. It's the apartment that's no longer able to be and will not be used as an apartment. Can I get, okay,
I'll second.
all in favor?
Aye.
The blue line is where promotional's at.
Is that where we're looking at the 1,000?
I mean, that's, yeah, that would be where it would come from. So, one, I need a motion on approval of using the grant money that ASHA was able to obtain for the benches. Can I get a motion on that?
I'll make a motion.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
And can I get a motion and an amount regarding funding to help with that project?
I make a motion, we donate $1,000 plus.
I second.
All in favor? Moving on to Frost Brown Todd engagement letter, like Tina spoke earlier, she just asked that if we do approve that, it's just contingent on obviously getting the grant. I think I sent it down. We could approve it now with contingent on obtaining the grant. Can I get a second? All in favor? Moving on to the wastewater budget increase request. Do we have paperwork on that? Or did we already send it down?
No, this one will just be a,
Oh, okay.
no sign or anything.
Can I get a motion on that?
I'll make a motion.
All in favor? Excuse me. Moving on to transfer resolution 2026-0706A. I think it should be down there at the end. Can I get a motion on that?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Moving on to Benton County, or check, my bad, SRF disbursement number 36.
I'll make a motion.
Hold on, I've got it right here.
Here is the, most up-to-date expenditures from SRF Flex. Been paid out, what's been received, and also with the claims that was this time, the SRF disbursements.
That's
all notated in there.
part of that.
This part of the.
Can I get a motion on those?
I'll make a motion.
Okay. All in favor? Moving on to Benton County invoice number 7. It's this one. If everybody's had an opportunity to look at that, if I could get a motion on that.
I'll second.
All in favor? And Knowles construction quote for the office doorway at the new town hall.
I'll make a motion.
Can I get a second? All in favor? And then the RPM machinery quote for the servicing of the backhoe, which will then lead to diagnostic on the issue at hand with overheating.
I'll make a motion.
I'll second.
All in favor? And then CM construction quote number 118 for the Plum Street fire hydrant repair. That's also in that packet. Can I get a motion on that?
I'll make a motion.
I'll second.
All in favor? Do we want to go ahead and send through the pump testing and ladder? The other one's ladder, right?
Yeah, the other one's ladder to set up account use schedule.
Okay. The finals on the back. Can I get a motion on the pump testing quote?
I'll make a motion.
All in favor? And then we'll get that number established or on up and everything, and that way they can get us a quote on that one.
We skipped where that's gonna come
Which one?
from. Test.
Can you
I've got the.
Oh,
Word on the ground, was gonna improve the fuel tank, because I don't know if electricity needs that in place first. You know where to put the electric or?
if they do, if you would just mark where you want it, and we'll scoop it out and bring gravel in.
Okay.
So that won't be a problem.
Okay. I may be able to have it located also because the power line go on, it pulls the west side of the approach.
Yeah.
Goes to
Comes
that
through
area.
Yeah.
And I talked to a locator.
Okay.
Fire.
Okay. Yeah, if, yeah, and then just mark it, and I don't care if one of us have to go down there and scoop it out, we'll get it, and then just grab a bucket and dump it, so that ain't no problem. Just, hit me up, let me know when.
I'll talk to the difference, see what they want to do for first or.
Okay.
I got a question about the RPM machinery repair for the backhoe.
Yeah.
Can you guys do it like an not to exceed number when they come and say, you know, use the water pump, at least approve that, fixes not the way they don't want that.
So, yes, we could, Right.
Have to wait to screw it next month, so the fact that we just sit down.
right. Yeah. 1 second.
yeah, good. Awesome.
Appreciate you.
I'm looking to see where it could come out.
Okay.
Because we can't, we don't want negatives in here when we report this for budget. That's
Yeah.
why we do those transfers.
Awesome. What do you think we should put feasible on, essentially the not to exceed? That's
We're already
awesome idea.
19. I mean, I don't know.
Butch,
Yeah, what do you think?
So
Well, as far as the not to exceed, if it is a water pump, something.
Just the 2,500.
So generally what we would do is for the backhoe, we general water and wastewater, but we don't have anything in water without doing a transfer. So it would have to be split just, and I can't split between just two. Let's see. As long as the bill doesn't come before next month, then that would be feasible and to be able to do a transfer to move money and what needs to go into water.
What do you put the 25 not to exceed?
so we'll alter the quote for RPM, with a clause stating repair for the overheating issue, to be approved contingent on it doesn't exceed $2,500. Can I get a motion on that?
I'll make a motion.
I'll second.
All in favor? Good idea, Sean. Any around the table concerns? Comment? Can I get a motion to adjourn?
I'll make a motion.
All in favor?
Look,